running from God. When I think of running from God, I think about Jonah. How silly that Jonah thought he could get away from God. He could run from God's presence. Of course, God found him, and God sent him into the sea, and God prepared a whale to swallow him and to bring him back and to put him back on the right track. You know, we can't run from God, but that unfortunately doesn't stop us, doesn't stop most people from trying. They run and run and run and find that He's everywhere. There's nowhere you can get away from God. That was what's happening in Hosea chapter 7. The chapter begins with God saying, "When I would have healed Israel, then the iniquity of Ephraim was discovered, and the wickedness of Samaria." And it goes through quite a long list of all the things they were doing. But essentially, they were living life their own way. They were making their own decisions. They were trying to get ahead without any thought for God and His Word. And that's really what sin is. Sin is when we decide we're going to do things our own way. Isaiah talks about all we like sheep have gone our own way. We've went astray. And that's what sin is, when we try to do things and live by our own rules. Notice just some things about this chapter. In verse 2, they fail to consider in their hearts that God remembers all their wickedness. You know, if we made a list of all the things we've ever done, it would be a very long list of things, and yet God remembers them all. Their own doings have beset them about there before my face. We can't hide from God. He sees it all. He sees what we think. He hears what we say. He knows what we do. The leaders of the nation enjoyed the sins of the people as well. Unfortunately, they had people and leaders who were involved in this rebellious lifestyle. Their sin was like a smoldering fire that would flame up and destroy them. We see that in verses 4 to 7. Verse 7 says, "None of them called unto me." Verses 8 and 9, they became mixed among the people. They were like a half-baked cake, weakened and unaware. Verse 10, despite all this, they pridefully refused to turn to the Lord, nor to seek Him. You know, it's so sad that people go through times of difficulty, and no matter how bad it gets, they still refuse to turn to God. Let's not be like that. The verses 14 to 16, they knew that they were in trouble, but they still would not return to the Lord. Verse 13 says, "Woe unto them, for they have fled from me. Destruction unto them. They have transgressed against me, and though I have redeemed them, yet they have spoken lies against me." And so really this is a behavior just like we see in our world today and see in our own hearts, that we often love our sin. We think we can do our own thing. We ignore God's blessings and grace. We want to live life on our own terms. And even when things go bad, often we refuse to turn to the Lord. Let's not make the same mistake. Let's recognize who God is, humble ourselves before Him. Let's seek Him and find freedom. And if we run from Him, recognize we will only find bondage and destruction.